Hi, I'm Kenzie. Welcome back to my podcast. If you are just joining, welcome. Today we will be talking about my third Elmo's World VHS. It's called Elmo's World, Singing, Drawing, and More. It includes 3 episode segments, singing, drawing, and telephones. First, let's talk about singing. This first episode segment starts out with Elmo introducing himself, his world, and his goldfish Dorothy. He told the viewers to guess what he's thinking about today. He opened door to reveal a kids' choir. That's what Elmo was thinking about, singing. Then we saw some examples of people singing. After that, Dorothy had a question about singing. The question was, how do you sing? Elmo went to ask Mr. Noodle's brother, Mr. Noodle. Before Shade opened, it was singing too, high and low. At first, Mr. Noodle's brother crowed like a rooster, mooed like a cow, gargled, and quacked like a duck. Then he sang. Well, actually, the tape recorder was singing. Mr. Noodle's brother was pretending to sing. At that point, Dorothy wanted to ask someone else. We saw 3 kids singing the same song at different times. That's called a round. Then Elmo asked a baby. Afterwards, Elmo had a question for us. How many pigs are in a barbershop quartet? The answer was 4 pigs, because quartet means 4. Then Elmo wondered what can and can't sing. Drawer wouldn't open though. So Elmo sang to the drawer to make it open. It worked well, a bit too well. Well, dogs sing. Pineapples can't sing, but Elmo can sing with a pineapple. Clocks can't sing, unless it's a cuckoo clock. Bathtubs can't sing, but Ernie sings in the bathtub. In fact, Ernie loves to sing. So does Elmo's friend Samantha. As a matter of fact, she sings while she claps. You see, Samantha wanted to sing and clap at the same time, like her big sister. After some practice, she got it right. Elmo loved the song Down Down Baby so much that he decided to sing and clap to it. Clapping and singing at the same time is fun. Learning new songs is fun too. In fact, Elmo wanted to learn a new song. He did that by watching the singing channel on TV. On the singing channel, the lecture lady taught us the song The Itsy Bitsy Spider. Afterwards, Elmo wanted to learn even more about singing. He opened door to reveal an opera singer. The opera singer sang high, low, fast, and slow. Then she mentioned that there are lots of different kinds of singing. For example, she sings opera. Speaking of which, Dorothy was imagining Elmo singing opera, singing rock and roll, and rapping. Then Elmo wanted to show his home video he made with his camera. It showed Big Bird singing to his teddy bear Radar to help him go to sleep. During the video, it made Elmo fall asleep. TV woke him up. After watching the video, Elmo mentioned that he and Dorothy love singing. That's why Dorothy wanted to sing the sing song, which was actually fun to say. So Elmo played the sing song on the piano to the tune of Jingle Bells. And he, Dorothy, and the opera singer said goodbye. And that's how the episode ends. Now let's talk about drawing. This second episode segment starts out with Elmo introducing himself, his world, and his goldfish Dorothy. He told the viewers to guess what he's thinking about today. Then he picked up a crayon and drew all over the screen. That's what Elmo was thinking about, drawing. Then we saw some examples of people drawing. After that, Dorothy had a question about drawing. The question was, how do other people draw? Elmo went to ask Mr. Noodle. When Shade wouldn't open, Elmo drew all over him. He called it shade opening. At first, Mr. Noodle drew in the air with nothing in his hand. He needed a crayon to draw. Then he needed a piece of paper. Finally, he had to draw on the paper. Not by drawing in the air and standing on the paper, though. After some drawing, he accidentally fell. At that point, Dorothy wanted to ask someone else. We saw one girl finger painting, one girl drawing a flower with crayons, and one boy drawing a cow jumping over the moon with markers. Then Elmo drew a baby. Afterwards, Elmo had a question for us. How many drawings are on the refrigerator? The answer was 5 drawings, and 1 elephant. Then Elmo wondered what does and doesn't draw. Well, birthday cakes don't draw, but you draw on them, with icing that is. Tables don't draw, but you can draw on one. Hats don't draw, but you can draw while wearing a hat. Bears don't draw, unless it's Baby Bear. Baby Bear was seen doing just that. Afterwards, Elmo mentioned that some of his other friends like to draw too. Kurt, Erica, and Sally drew the same tree in different ways. Kurt used colored markers, Sally used paint and a brush, and Erica used crayons. Their masterpieces were beautiful. Elmo drew a tree too, a shoe tree. Then Elmo wanted to learn more about drawing. He did that by watching the drawing channel on TV. On the drawing channel, a drawing of a daisy mentioned that a drawing can be anything. Afterwards, Elmo showed the drawings he drew yesterday and put them on the refrigerator. He drew a cow on the farm with a red barn. Then he drew a bird. Finally, he drew a moon. Then Dorothy was imagining Elmo in his own drawings. After that, Elmo mentioned his favorite drawing was of his mommy and daddy. Speaking of which, Elmo wanted to show his home video he made with his camera. It showed Elmo's picture of his parents. After watching the video, Elmo mentioned that he and Dorothy loved drawing. That's why Dorothy wanted to sing the drawing song. So while the viewers followed the crayon, Elmo played the drawing song on the piano to the tune of Jingle Bells. Then he and Dorothy said goodbye. And that's how the episode ends. Now let's talk about telephones. This third episode segment starts out with Elmo introducing himself, his world, and his goldfish Dorothy. He told the viewers to guess what he's thinking about today. There was a ringing sound. Elmo went to get it. As he opened the door, a bunch of telephones fell off the shelves. Don't worry, Elmo managed to dodge them. Then he picked up the telephone and answered. That's what Elmo was thinking about. Telephones. Then we saw some examples of people talking on telephones. After that, Dorothy had a question about telephones. The question was, how do you use a telephone? Elmo went to ask Mr. Noodle's brother, Mr. Noodle. Before Shade opened, it sounded like a telephone itself. At first, Mr. Noodle's brother picked up the whole telephone. He just needed to use the receiver, though. That's the part you talk into. Then he put the receiver on his head when it should have been on his ear. Then he had the receiver upside down. So he flipped it right side up and talked on the telephone. Ring! There was another phone ringing. So Mr. Noodle's brother went to get it. He reached and reached until he got it. Mr. Noodle's brother was talking on 2 phones. Ring! Another phone was ringing. If Mr. Noodle's brother were to get that one, he would be talking on 3 phones. Unfortunately, he couldn't get the third one. He had trouble. At that point, Dorothy wanted to ask someone else. We saw one girl showing us how to use a telephone and one boy showing us how to answer it. They had a great conversation. Then Elmo asked some babies. Afterwards, Elmo had a question for us. How many penguins are waiting to use the telephone? The answer was 7 penguins. Then the ice broke apart. The penguins would have to wait a long time. Then Elmo wondered what does and doesn't talk on the telephone. Well, pizzas don't talk on the phone, but you can order one. Birthday cakes don't talk on the phone, but you can call to wish someone a happy birthday. Birds don't talk on the phone, unless it's Big Bird. He called Snuffy. Now that's what I call a bird call. Afterwards, Elmo mentioned that he loves to talk on the phone. So does his friend Naya. As a matter of fact, she learned how to use one to call her grandma. Now Naya makes calls all the time. In fact, she called Elmo. Then Elmo wanted to learn how people called each other before telephones. He did that by watching the telephone channel on TV. On the telephone channel, we got a brief history lesson about the telephone. Afterwards, Elmo wanted to learn even more about telephones. He opened the door to reveal a telephone. Elmo could talk to a phone. The telephone talked about the parts of her. Then once she started ringing, Elmo answered. It was Dorothy calling. She was imagining Elmo talking on the telephone while skydiving, while in space, and while hiking. After that, the telephone left the scene. Elmo wanted to show his home video he made with his camera. It was called Telephones. After watching the video, Elmo mentioned that he and Dorothy loved telephones. That's why Dorothy wanted to sing the telephone song. So Elmo played the telephone song on the piano to the tune of Jingle Bells. Then he, Dorothy, and the telephone said goodbye. And that's how the episode ends. So yeah, that's Elmo's World. Singing, drawing, and more. If you would like to play again, just go back to the beginning of this episode. See you next time. Bye!